So, what you been doing this weekend?
It's not even the week. Well, it's like the middle of the week now.
Middle of the week?
There was a new...
Are you planning to do anything this weekend?
Besides buy some rope and a stool from Home Depot.
I mean, that's every other week.
I go through a lot of a thick neck.
I mean...
Welcome, everybody, to the podcast, or whatever this is. We talk about games.
Helpline.
But no, I've been playing.
Direction.
We're gonna talk about this video sponsor. I've been playing. I've been playing V Rising. V Rising. I got a new update. I'm playing that on brutal mode, I think it's called. All the bosses get more moves.
Oh, okay.
It's been pretty cool so far. Patch has a lot of nice things going on. But we're not here to talk about V Rising. You should go check it out. If you like survival games or action games that are top down. Oh. Today we're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about... Sounds boring already.
Sounds boring.
I'm going to shoot myself in the head.
Let's start with this. Let's look at this. This is... I don't know what this is. It just got recommended to me on YouTube. Let's see what this is.
Look at that. Let's look at this together. Let's...
Can you see my screen?
What is this? No.
Seems to be some indie game. Reminds me of these old PS1 games.
Everybody wants to be like Silent Hill now.
Drum and bass.
So you just deliver pizzas in Silent Hill?
Deliver pizzas in Silent Hill. Everyone you deliver the pizza to should be like a ghost or something. We're gonna get copyright hit for this music. I don't even know.
This game is nice and cozy. You know, that's the term that's what they like to say.
I think you would like this game. It seems like something you would enjoy.
I would enjoy this game. Are you calling me a mouth breather now?
I think you're gonna speed run the pizza delivery, like your GTA 3 runs.
Speed run the pizza delivery, the man says.
Sorry, that actually, I just realized that video might have been extremely loud. My bad. I'm very sorry.
Oh, sorry guys.
Blow out your eardrums, why don't I? See, everyone's playing Schedule 1. They should be playing this game.
Schedule 1.
Wishlist now on Steam. That looks fucking cool. Thumbs up.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. A little different. Where did you even find it? Did you just pull that out of nowhere?
It just got recommended to me. I was like, what's this? Click. Let's watch it.
Oh, man. We did not get sponsored by them, guys.
We are not sponsored. Actually, we're sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com. Do you want an unlicensed individual to gaslight you for free?
Oh my god.
Use promo code TSB. Get gaslit by a unqualified 26-year-old.
No.
All right.
Off now.
Let's bring up this real quick. We're not really big Among. You ever played Among Us?
Never.
I got kids in my family, all my cousins and stuff, and nieces. They love this thing. I guess this is real. Among Us 3D is coming. Which honestly, I feel like the game. I guess it'll be first person. But I think the game.
I can't imagine any kids having VR setups.
I think the VR. No, that shouldn't be VR. They need us to run on guns. I mean, on guns. I'm gonna run Among Us on my gun.
Yeah, you're gonna run Among Us on your gun, huh? Yeah.
My eye gun.
Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, the commentary here.
Brain fart. I was asking my buddy about shotguns earlier for animal defense. Don't want to get routed by a bobcat, you know? But no, they need this to run on phones. So I don't think it's going to be VR. Among Us 3D. It says May 6th, but I heard it was May 5th, so I don't know.
May 5th.
For all the Among Us
right
fans, you know?
I mean, I thought it was like a quick fad game. A lot of people were playing it. I thought it was a popular streaming game. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna.
It has a lot of staying power, and the memes are like.
The
kids love these memes for this stuff.
Is the next generation gonna play this? You think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Think so?
I think so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, some more serious news.
Oh God. Well, before you even start here, it's interesting that you're bringing this topic up. I don't think we had any discussion about it off air. I think it was pertaining more to a marathon in Concord, where we were asking ourselves what are the purpose of these new age genre shooters is what I'm gonna define them as now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially with the fan base having like this cult-like mentality.
Cult?
You know, behind
cult-like, yeah.
Yeah, very, very cult-like mentality behind the game. You know, in terms of like and I don't want to name any of those games. It's pretty obvious which ones I'm talking about. You
Didn't
know,
you just mention Concord and Marathon?
No. Well, those games are both failures. Well, I'm talking about the other games where you know, they also fit within that description in terms of being
we're gonna talk about one of them later.
Shooter.
I mean, we should bring that up next. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, we should bring that up next. Yeah, and like I said, is there any real space for that genre today? How many of those games are you going to release before they all start to blend with each other?
They already blend with each other.
So this is why I'm asking, why is it that these companies are continuing to make this choice, you know? Well, like I'm baffled. Are they writing is this like a tax write-off, you know? Or do they want to get
make money? No, they want to make money. But here's the thing,
because
they just
say, you know, it's a loss. We'll take it. We'll cancel everything. We'll write the receipt. You know, like what's going on here?
You hire enough unqualified people, and it becomes difficult to make art. And then you also have the too many cooks in the kitchen problem.
But as a shareholder, you know, isn't there a
sell
team?
now?
No. I'm saying as a shareholder, isn't there a team that's at least giving you a landscape, you know, of all the games that are coming out? And aren't you as a shareholder should be educated enough to be looking around like, hey, you know, a lot of these games fucking suck.
Shareholders being educated? Sorry, it's just like some guy's accountant or whatever the heck they do.
Accountant.
He doesn't know what's going on.
God.
Oh, you guys are releasing a new game that has a new technology called ray tracing? Wow, that sounds... I'm going to invest more into your ray tracing game. That sounds awesome. The gamers love ray tracing.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is that they release these games with a lot of baseless definitions. You know? Yeah. They're trying to come up with these new terms as a means to entice players. And they don't actually create a community.
Some of those terms do mean things. It just... Is it really a selling point, or is it just like a marketing attempt?
It's a poor marketing attempt. Because it doesn't really do anything for the game itself or the genre. You know? My fear is that they're going to kill the first-person genre. And it's already happening now in front of us.
Dead, though?
Yeah.
Like, of all the games we've covered,
it's like a zombie.
The only one that I've seen any interest in, for me personally speaking, like if I were invested in this genre, like first-person shooters, I'd just go like, oh, I'm gonna get Doom. To me, Doom looks the best. And I don't even think that has any multiplayer in it.
And that's the game that apparently a lot of these reviewers or these publications have a problem with. They're saying that, oh, the game is dated. You know, we should move on and play these new extraction shooters. And I'm like, the Doom formula was never wrong. You know, the Doom formula is what created every fucking game that we have now. You know, Doom, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, you know, some of the older Duke Nukem games. Like, come on. I mean, it's just I'm a little confused now. I mean, I
Pooping on the
guess we should just talk.
foundation.
Yeah, they are shitting on the
You
foundation. These
you
people don't know
can't
what the
you
fuck
can't
is
build a
going on.
house if you tear away at the foundation. You know.
It's it's a little sad. It's very disingenuous. I know it's been quite some time since I've said that on the podcast, but it's the disingenuous of the community and the industry.
Well,
You know,
they have a big problem is that a lot of these games when they're released, like they have to be free to compete. They can't put a price tag on these games because that like that's kind of why Concord failed because they put a price tag on it. And meanwhile, you had better products on the market that were quote unquote free. Some of them have like these battle passes and stuff like that. Like they don't like it's not pay to win, which is preferable, but at the same time they do employ these sort of like psychological methods in order to get people to pay money. But you put a price tag on a first-person shooter now. You better have something you're selling me because Doom, yeah, I'll pay money for that. Am I gonna pay money for Concord, some random multiplayer game? For what?
I'm getting something out of Dune in terms of playing that campaign. Like people say, "Oh, it's a single player game." Yeah, but I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm killing the demons. I'm unlocking stuff. I'm going through the story or whatever. You get something out of it. What am I getting from Concord? Oh, I shoot another guy who looks like a like inflated human.
Bunch of idiots.
I don't want to be too offensive here, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. It's just I'm not too sure what's going on anymore. I mean, they keep and Rainbow Six is another one. They're doing a new Rainbow Six.
Well, let's get to this first. So the Titanfall game, Titanfall 3,
this is a canceled game.
Reportedly, yeah.
No. But the point that I'm trying to make is that they Rainbow Six is a game that's already out, and they decided let's remaster that one. Like why? Why? And that's another thing. We keep remastering fucking games. And did you hear about the canceled Spyro? I mean, the canceled Crash Bandicoot project. They canceled the Crash 5.
Well, it's a good thing that they're canceling projects at Naughty Dog. Mainly, they canceled the new Last of Us, so that's good.
Yeah, and I think that was supposed to be like a multiplayer game, also, right?
I don't know. All I know is that they're making some other horrible-looking game. I think it's like Interstellar or something.
I don't know, man.
Some long title. But let's get to this article though. So the Titanfall game, Titanfall 3, let's say, reportedly canceled at Respawn Entertainment amid wider EA shakeup. Electronic Arts. For those of you who don't know, Titanfall 2 was the game that came out before Apex Legends, and Titanfall 2 failed because they tried to compete with like some Call of Duty game that was coming out around the same time, and they decided to release Titanfall 2 at the same time, even though Titanfall 2 is like a extremely tight and fun game. Like I never really cared for it or was interested, and probably because of what they did here, like trying to compete and like getting flooded by Call of Duty. But when they had the game recently went up on Steam, you can play it now online and everything. It all works, and I bought it for like $5 and I played. I was like, actually, this is like really cool. Like this would have been so fun. Like if I had played it on release with like a huge player base and stuff. But yeah, let's see here. In the latest blow to the video game labor community, Electronic Arts confirmed layoffs at Apex Legends developer Respawn and the cancellation of 2 incubation projects at the studio. About 100 people at Respawn have been affected by the changes. I like how they call it changes. They've been affected by the change. They got laid off. Is that what you're trying to say? Affected by the changes. Oh, about 100 people at Respawn have been affected by the changes.
Start telling people straight up, yeah, they got fired. Right?
They got rid of them.
They fired the team. They got rid of them. They're like, you know what? You guys ain't making any money over here on this side. You gotta go. All right, we're closing this whole building down. We're subsidizing. What the fuck? It's like insane.
I don't want anyone to lose their jobs, but it's a business, so the business is gonna do what they're gonna do. Report from Bloomberg said that Titanfall extraction shooter. Oh no. Oh no. What are they doing? Why? Well, they have different game modes, so I have to assume if they did make a new Titanfall, they would have some more game modes. Which was said to be in early development, was one of the cancelled incubation projects. The game was codenamed R7, the report said, adding that it was not close to being ready for release. More widely, EA is making cuts that affect many people. Reporter Jeff Grubb of GameSpot said, Bloomberg said between 300 and 400 people in total are losing their jobs at EA, including 100 at Respawn, EA, and FC Sports. And EA Sports FC and Apex Legends underperformed, leading to this latest wave of cuts at EA. Dragon Age, the Veilguard, might have not performed up to EA's sales expectations. Oh, really? What happened? Oh.
Ouch.
Maybe you should have done what Baldur's Gate did and actually made a good game. But we understand its performance is not related to the cuts across EA generally. As for the non-Respawn layoffs, IGN reported that EA's experiences team was affected. The experiences team.
What does that even mean? The experiences team.
We've got the programmers, we've got QA, we've got the art team, we've got the marketing team.
What do they have? Experience?
The experiences team. What are you guys doing over here? We've been playing ping pong on this table.
Fuck.
Well, you guys gotta go. Oh, really? Man, this job's crazy though. It's such a sick job. Really, you gonna let me go?
I mean,
it's like, yeah, you're not doing anything.
I hate, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to bring this up. Is this related somehow to the DEI hires? I hate to say that. I apologize.
Well, for that, they'd be in every team, right? They wouldn't just be in one team.
Yeah, and then.
But I have to assume that this team was a creation of that sort of thing.
Okay.
But then again, this could be like an offshoot team of QA, and maybe this experienced team is like, I don't know, 8 people maybe. Like, we don't know. Like,
but it doesn't make sense to me. Even that type of like you know what Q&A is. You know that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but like the experiences team, like. What, they take you on a fuck?
Like, for all we know about like these corporations and what they've been doing internally, and all the money has been wasted, and all like money, time, and all this stuff. Like, I have to assume they've experienced team was not doing anything related to experiences or helpful that much. But at the same time, I don't want to throw away the baby with the bathwater, because QA does that, don't they? Isn't this what QA does? I don't know.
It doesn't even say what they do. What do they do? What's their...
They were affected, okay? That's what they do. The ping pong table was removed. They were sent outside with the ping pong table.
What I was gonna say before I started sneezing is like I'm under the impression that with the experiences team, what is it? They take you on a picnic, you do a nice. Even a nice experience. They take you out to dinner or something. I don't know.
They get
what the fuck is this?
They get expensive sushi delivered to the office.
Yeah. All the dragon rolls and all this stuff.
So that team, along with customer service and marketing roles, affected staffers were reportedly given a chance to apply for other internal roles prior to parting ways entirely. As part of our continued focus on long-term strategic priorities, we've made select changes within our... There's those changes again. Within our organization to more effectively align teams and allocate resources in service of driving a future growth. Oh, what a beautiful little excerpt there. Oh, man. Pat yourself on the back for that one.
It's like a lawyer wrote this for them.
Well, there is no Titanfall 3, as this should make clear. I don't think people realize just how much EA Football Club and Apex Legends missed last year. Dragon Age isn't even a factor compared to those two. Well, when you put all your eggs in Apex Legends for whatever reason, like, how do you even, like, how much development time goes into Apex? It's just maintenance at this point, isn't it? They're just like they're just like looking at it and then relying on it to like go make more money. Apex, do the thing. You got this ugly ass game with these ugly ass skins. Like, you're gonna get beaten out by competition eventually. You're not gonna last.
Yeah, that another game is like the EA Madden football.
They don't even have good modes in their game. They just have these stupid like what is it? The battle royale. Like, are people tired of battle? I'm tired of battle royale. I don't even play it that much. And I sure as hell don't want to play any extraction shooters.
Yeah, I'm over it. Not gonna lie.
Rest in peace. Banana, Titanfall. Rest in peace. It's over.
You think they'll release the whatever's left of it to the public?
No.
Somehow
they said it was too. They said it was too early. So no.
Oh, it was too early. Oh wow, they didn't even get started. Ouch.
There's an incubation team. Extraction shooter Apex. Oh, extraction shooters are so cool.
That fucking sucks, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. But let's move on to this thing, which is another FPS game related. Maybe this is one of the ones you don't want to mention. But this has an official console launch trailer. Let's see.
I've never heard of this game before.
FragPunk, dude.
It already looks terrible.
You haven't even seen it yet. It's got this wacky art style, dude. It's time to duel. Look, see the guy on the controller? He's having fun. Look at him. Oh my god, these commercials. Can I just see some gameplay? What is this? Never mind, sorry. Why do they do commercials like this? What's this for?
Yeah, nice game. Yeah, definitely nice game.
Come on, dude.
Absolutely terrible. How many years ago?
Jesus.
Welcome to Lancer Guide. Today
Welcome to Lancer Guide. Oh, this is a Lancer Guide. I don't know. This character, I guess. I guess this is fine. We'll look at this. But yeah, apparently this game, you know, it's like a kind of like what do they call it? Counter-Strike, I guess. But
the hero-based shooter.
It's kind of like Valorant, Counter-Strike, that sort of thing. It's like a hero shooter game. So, you know, not the worst thing in the world. But apparently, the cool thing about this game... Damn, I want another trailer. What is this? I don't know, this review. We'll pull this up. I don't know. The cool thing about this game is that, like, every round, there's, like, random cards that you pick from. And the cards that you pick influence certain properties of the game. Let's see if they show it here. I gotta show it at some point.
Oh, so it's Balatro with Call of Duty.
I mean, it sounds appealing to me at least. I mean, a little bit.
It sounds terrible.
Chaos cards.
This is what we're calling them. This is what we're doing now. We're adding poker.
So this team's attacking, right? Now they make the rules. So this is interesting, right? Okay. So here are the cards that show up on the screen. No doors in the level, so they remove the doors. Another one is every 5 seconds, a random enemy is forced to use their trigger key buttons. Like, this just sounds fun to me, dude. This one is a random weapon enchant. Okay. So that sounds interesting, you know. There's some other ones. Let's see. There's some. They show real quick. I can pause it, maybe. You can sleep to heal yourself. Snowy landscape that allows sliding. Enemy heads are bigger. So you remember those old games on N64 with the big head mode cheat? Like stuff like that, you know? So look, they all got big heads now. It's an interesting game. Like, I haven't seen a game do this, and I think this is something interesting, like an interesting twist on it, you know?
What you're essentially telling me is that this game, this is the first-person shooter that has the certain drafting elements of Dota, but instead
Like
they gave
kind
it
of
a
wacky
twist.
elements, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, they gave like party elements, something
Yeah.
like a Super Smash Brothers mode, but instead for first person shooters,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. This is a nice party mode, but in terms of a competitive shooter, no,
You don't like it
no.
as
I'm
a
not saying.
competitive game?
No. Look at all these random elements, bro. How can you be competitive in this?
True, but I get your point from that aspect, but I think from my point of view, I think I just want to. I think
Party game.
mainly I'd like to have fun, so stuff like this just seems
This is a party game. There's nothing wrong with that.
fun to me.
It's a party game. This would have been a nice mode. Like who made this game? What company?
Unfortunately, this is a Chinese game.
Oh, it's a Chinese game.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be going and installing this on your computer, folks. But if you have like a console, I guess it's all right.
Yeah. I wouldn't even install this on my console. I wouldn't. Okay.
Just unplug the console when you go to bed.
Yeah, I'll be very careful.
It doesn't listen to you farting.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping and Jiang Sina are gonna listen to you.
I mean, that's kind of racist to say, because it's not like this game. You download this game, and a Bitcoin miner is gonna be downloaded, into your kernel or something.
Yeah, man, that happens. I mean, it could happen. It could happen with like any sort of game you download. And obviously, we covered a couple weeks ago this other like indie game that was doing something like that. That survival game that we covered. But like, I think Chinese games, I'm generally wary of them because they seem to always have weird problems, and they always seem to like have some kind of anti-cheat thing that's like going like layer 0 or whatever it is called for your.
Yeah, it's going to your root of your system, and it's installing things that it's not supposed to do, and it has access,
And then the game still is like flooded with hackers anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up, because a lot of these games, you gotta allow access to your firewall. So what information are these companies really seeing, when we're online, on their servers at the end of the day?
They're getting all my contacts, and they're sending them scam. Scamming.
They see our IP addresses and everything else. But what's really going on?
Yeah.
My Midget Wesker.
Midget Wesker comes through. Inside joke, folks. Don't look into it that deeply. But yeah, that's about it. I don't know. The game seemed interesting to me, but unfortunately, it's made by a certain country or developers in a certain country. I'm not gonna write them off entirely. Like, the game does look cool.
It's that unfortunately we recognize Taiwan, so like we can't play this game.
Oh, true. We can't. Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately. Wasn't there a wrestling thing recently where?
I don't even fucking know, probably.
Some guy was asking what's going on with John Cena or something. Oh no, they brought up the when he was when he had to undress on the red carpet or whatever. They like brought that up in the wrestling promo or something.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cody Rhodes did. Yeah, Cody Rhodes did. Yeah, he was doing talking about John Cena's humiliation ritual.
Ah, that's fun. Do they ever bring up old Vince?
They always bring up Vince McMahon.
IGN gave it a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Yeah, that's what IGN
the
does
meme
for
score.
Every game. They
Unless they get, you gotta pay them for that 9, man. If you don't pay them, they're gonna give you a 7. You gotta pay them for the 9. All right, let's move it along. We got a lot of things to cover, and we're 30 minutes into the show already. 30 minutes into the show. We should bring this up since it keeps coming up on my screen. This is a meme. You guys like memes? Yeah. On the left, there are two people selling products at a booth, and there's one guy who has the most people lined up, and the two guys are selling a $10 coffee, and the other guy's selling a $10 game. No one is at the line for the guy's trying to sell you a $10 game.
I'll buy a $10 game, and I'll buy $1 coffee.
$1? No, it's a $10 coffee.
Well, I'm not buying coffee.
I think you can change coffee to like a cheeseburger or something. That seems more realistic.
No, no, the scenario still fits. I understand what you're saying. I think people look at the price tag to a game, and they ask themselves, is this a game of high quality? You know, or it's just nothing more than a cheap mobile game that they brought to the PC, you know, or for modern consoles, you know, or maybe this game was developed on modern consoles by one of those cheap mobile game developers, and it plays like shit. You know, so, so that's why people are just saying, I don't want to spend the $10. I'd rather pay the high premium price. You know, I'm a little bit more confident in that. I'd rather pay the
Yeah.
$60, $70. You know, now in the future that we are going into, we're gonna be paying $90 for some of these games, and I truly believe that when Grand Theft Auto 6 releases, you know, mark my words, it's gonna be a $200 game. You know,
200. You raised the price.
yeah, I raised the price for them. I raised the
I
MSRP.
raised your
So
200, and I say 300, good sir.
yes, I'm raising the
Oh
MSRP
man,
suggested retail price to $200.
Rockstar,
Or 199.99.
Rockstar, what are you
You know,
paying this man?
listen, and then the deluxe package is gonna be $350. All right, that's good.
Damn. So the thing with this is, like, all right, let's change it to cheeseburger, right? Because coffee, I think, is a silly argument. But when I buy a $10 cheeseburger, there's like a level of quality I expect, and then I also, you know, I gotta eat, so I'll spend more than $2 a day to eat something, right? But
I mean,
with like a with a $10 game, like it's not a high quality game going in, right? The developer has signaled
show
this
me his
much to you.
body.
Show me his body.
Show me a good $10 game.
Show me a good $10 game. But yeah, like we go into a $10 game thinking like, okay, this is like a gamble. Like I'm gambling my $10 here, where it's like maybe this will be good. It would be the same if you gave me like a $1 cheeseburger. I'm like, all right, maybe this won't give me diarrhea, right? Like
Oh, good
like the
lord.
scaling is different. Like a $10 cheeseburger is like a quality cheeseburger. Same as like a $60 game. You assume it's a quality game. So there's that kind of
I'm under
mindset
the.
going into it, you know?
I've paid for burgers, you know, less than $10. You know, I paid less than that. Like I'm talking about $5 burgers from the hood, maybe burger patties that were like $1, $2.
The chopped
You know,
cheese from the corner from
yeah,
Ock.
like yeah, the chopped cheese. Yeah, when they used to be like $3. Yeah, people forget,
BB,
motherfuckers.
what do you want? Chopped cheese.
Yeah, like those were quality. It was quality. But like,
Yeah,
but is it truly quality food? Is it truly quality in a sense that it's a high grade piece of meat? You know, the grading on the meat is it a B cut, A cut, blah blah blah. You know, we're giving third strike grades to the meat cuts.
you're going real
You know,
deep into this analogy. I hope it pays off.
no, but because the general idea is that a lot of these products that we buy in their grocery, they're not actually fresh per se.
Sure.
So yeah, like a lot of these seasons and a lot of these spices and seasoning, you know, tend to mask, you know, the old meats, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
So and then you have these other people, they go out of their way and they go to the
A
actual
lot. A
butcher
lot of it
themselves.
is. A lot of it is the presentation, right? You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, the presentation and everything.
If
And
I
the
walk
point that
into a
I'm trying to
Five
get to is,
Guys, I'm gonna feel more comfortable buying something than if I were to walk into like a corner store where there's a cat pissing in the corner.
it's no different than like the premium marketplace for games. Like it doesn't matter which generation of games that you're going for. Like there are games that are considered the lower price bin, but that's because the quality reflects that price point. And that there are some other games that are very very considered a high regard, or maybe they're very scarce and very rare. You know, first print productions and no longer can be found, never been remastered, blah blah blah. And those
Well, I
games
just
tend to
mean
command a high price.
I think the point of the meme is more or less catered towards like indie games that are like new and
Yeah.
released. I think that's what the kind of like the essence of this argument
No,
is.
yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up because like some of those indie games that are cheap for like $5, $2, or even 10, 15, 30. Some of them are even trying to push the $30 price mark, you know, even higher.
Yeah.
to present themselves, as a triple A
Oh,
company.
you should. You should. If you whatever you think, let's say here's a tip for game developers. Like if you ask a bunch of people like what would you pay for this game and then you show them your game or maybe like a game in competition with yours would be or whatever. Like you ask a person how much would you pay for this or maybe you can present them with prices like, "Oh, that's way too much," or this and that. So if you show them like $40, would you pay $40 for this? And like, oh, that's way too much, right? And it's like, oh, well, how much would you pay for it? Like, oh, like 20, 15. So that you're starting to gauge what type of person is going to buy your game and how much they're willing to spend on it, right? And if you show them like
Yeah.
a higher quality game, they might say, oh, that's like a $60 game you're showing me right now. So you have to kind of gauge what the audience is willing to pay for it because certain games and even like certain genres, you're going to be asking for more money. Like a shmup is going to be relatively cheaper than I don't know, what would you say, like a story based game or something. But I mean, I've bought games that were like $1 or $5 on Steam, like these indie games,
Yeah.
and they're fun. They're giving me sometimes more entertainment and more like a lot more quantity of entertainment as well.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of hours than these other games.
No, no, of course, and it actually goes back full circle to like my original argument. You brought up the shmup genre or the shoot 'em up genre. Of games. There are certain games that that those are cartridges or even those CDs go for thousands of fucking dollars. And then you have some of the lower quality ones that are cheap that go for like maybe 10, 15, $20. And it just shows like the different cuts, or the different gradings, of the quality. But it's
Yeah,
just like
you know what you
it's
kind of
still good.
the price point is
People buy
dictating.
McDonald's every fucking day.
Yeah,
It's like
the price
it's
point
not a
is
problem. People
dictating
buy
like
Burger King,
yeah.
Wendy's, you name it, all of them. There's people that drink fucking Maker's Mark. There's people that drink Johnny Walker Blue. You know, it's the truth.
Nothing wrong with
So,
Maker's
so
Mark.
but there's a point of like some people go Intel, some people go AMD. Like it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Like some people feel one is better than the other. No, I think it's more of a matter of opinion. Like yeah, there are some that would go very in depth, to show
So
the distinctions between the two. But I don't think it's that fucking serious.
what would you say to someone who constantly buys a $10 cheeseburger to buy this random indie game that you present to them, and they say, what would you say to them if they said, no, I'm not paying $10 for this random indie game? Oh, but you're willing to buy these $10 cheeseburgers.
You want to know what's my honest opinion?
Yeah.
They would ask me how to get it for free. How to
That is true. That is part of it. Well, if it's sometimes when it's that low, you're like, well, I might as well get it for free.
Yeah. It's just like, really? Why you don't get the cheeseburger for free?
There is a gamble when you buy these indie games. That's why a lot of them do well with the word of mouth. Because a lot of people aren't just buying random. Like if I were to buy random games all the time, like I'd be a lot of those would be misses for me, right? A lot of them like these not so great. I didn't like these, and then return them. But also I'm wasting my time here, right? If I buy like a $10 cheeseburger, I get the burger, I eat it, and then I move on with my life, and then I don't have to eat for the rest of the day or whatever the case may be. So the food analogies don't exactly go one to one, but I mean that one's kind of interesting to talk about.
No, but it does make sense, and that's why some people do have an issue with paying high prices with game. That's why they would rather get them used, But right now the market, or I mean at least a lot of these companies in general, they want to put a stop to that. Use games where you have to buy a license again. Maybe at a fraction of the price since you're buying a game used, but you still have to repurchase the license in order to play it. I know Xbox at one point was trying to do that where they were tying all the games, to one system. So you're leasing the
Oh god.
you're leasing the console, yeah, and then as you buy the license, yeah, like what? And this is insane, and this is the reality of what you're doing, you're just buying the rights to play the game on the console. You don't actually own the games at the end of the day. When these licenses expire, that's it. It's not like the older games where you actually own the cartridge and everything. And even that, there's a gray area of it. You know, because you technically can make a copy of your game, but like you have to delete it within like 24 hours, or if you are to make a copy of it, if it's because like maybe the other one is damaged and you have a backup, and like it's a lot, man. Like that motherfucker Bill Gates fucked up a lot of shit, man, with the software stuff. And I guess we'll talk about
Bill
that
Gates is
software
a great
conversation.
guy.
Yeah, we'll talk about that software conversation later on.
But what I
It's
recently
rough
just
out
pulled
there.
up was a trailer for Subnautica 2, which is an indie game. They didn't show any gameplay in this, trailer.
I thought it was a movie. I thought this was a movie the whole
A
time.
movie. Yeah, let's look at this one real quick. We're just gonna pull up some stuff here. But for those of you who like the indie game Subnautica, they got a new one coming out. I didn't even know this is happening. It's like a survival game where you're like underwater and you're picking up materials and doing research and stuff like that. I'm not sure entirely what the appeal is, because for me, I was just like, so you're underwater all the time, I guess? And like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know. It's probably interesting. A lot of people seem to like it. I mean, they got a sequel, so I mean, that's confirmed, right? A lot of people do like it.
I mean, I never heard of it.
Really?
I'm now hearing it part 2. Nope, never.
No, yeah, I've seen a couple people play this game a little bit. I've never been, interested, but I thought we should, let some people know. Maybe they don't know. Part 2's coming. There you go. So let's move into some.
Reminds me of these a lot of these what is it, these survivor
Yeah, that's kind of
style
what it is.
games where you're
That's kinda what it
stranded on
is.
an island and you have to get all these resources and so forth.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. I like those. Those are nice.
So, do you want to talk about the Nintendo thing? Was it Nintendo? What was it? The homebrew?
Yeah, I have it here. The Wii Homebrew community built on lies and copyright infringement. Oh, naughty, naughty. Let's see here. The Homebrew channel, it means of running unofficial apps and games on the Wii.
You get a link for me?
It's on the TSB. If you scroll up a little bit, you will see a link that says Wii Homebrew community built on lies and copyright infringement. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jamie. You brought that up. Everybody,
motherfucker, fuck out of here. That random shit, bro.
We'll play Third Strike later. Listen, everybody knows the Homebrew channel. It's on everything. It's on the Wii. It's on the Nintendo 3DSs. It's on the Nintendo Switches, the Wii U. Any hacked Wii console has the Homebrew channel. Let's not sit here and lie to ourselves. At least for the hardcore community, we should be very familiar with this. Chance where you go, your cool little unofficial apps, the unofficial signage of codes, that allows them to be played, on the on this hardware, unofficial software on hardware, being very literal about it, But now let's read this here. The Homebrew channel, a means of running unofficial apps and games on the Wii, has ceased development after it was alleged that key figures in the Homebrew development community stole code from both Nintendo and other open source projects. Oh, so let's read this really quick. Oh, this is fucking insane. I don't know if I gave you the Twitter link. The Twitter link is down there. If you actually clicked on that where it says Oatmeal Dome. Yeah, click on the archive part. Yeah, that part right there. Click on that, yeah. So you can read it for the ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this part right here. Yeah, this repository is archived and will not accept any further contributions. Like most Wii homebrew software, this software depends on libOGC. After the development of the homebrew channel had already started, we discovered that large portions of libOGC were stolen directly from the Nintendo SDK or games using the Nintendo SDK, decompiled and cleaned up. So these are like the actual like test kits, like the official test kits from Nintendo. We don't know if these were stolen test kits or maybe it was possible that they acquired these test kits off of eBay. They were able to reverse engineer certain stuff. These people don't want to get into any legal trouble with Nintendo whatsoever. It's even crazy that they're admitting this. You know that this is that the code is stolen from the SDKs. I mean, this is all alleged. We're playing around here. We don't know if the SDKs themselves were stolen. You know, but
Well,
this is why I'm always talking
that's what
about
their
it.
claim is.
I mean, the code. The code is stolen directly from the Nintendo SDK, or games using Nintendo SDK has been decompiled and cleaned up. All right, so then, now the question is, what were these games that were being developed that they were able to obtain? You know, reverse engineer, find and clean up. You know, and then go through means through there. You know, or were these earlier versions of like the Wii consoles, where maybe they saw what is it? And you know the interface for the Wii when you first started up, maybe they found a beta version of it. You know, maybe they found some code there that they weren't supposed to find. Because some people think that when we hack these consoles, we find a lot of that stuff. No, like it takes time. When people have to dump a lot of those files, and then we have to go through and look through all those binaries and figure out where everything is. And even that, you know, it takes a lot of people to actually know the internal hardware itself. You know, in terms of taking everything apart, looking at the motherboard. You know, knowing where all the memory is. You know, what powers up what, where everything. Yeah, it's a lot. So, yeah, so yeah, like this is a fucking shit show. I'm not gonna front like if Nintendo gets involved, this shit's gonna be even crazy. So like, yeah, like not here. The fact that they admitting this is like insane, you know.
Well,
And
it seems
mind
to
you,
be someone figured this out. From what I'm reading here, that someone figured this out, and they were like, they went so far as to uncover this that was being covered up. I guess that they were stealing and using code that wasn't theirs.
and this is all theory
Infringing on
crafting at the
copyrights.
end of the day. On my side, this is all theory crafting. I mean, in terms of like what we're talking about, this is allegedly. We're just simply reading what this man is entailing to us. In terms of like all that other shit I'm talking about, you know, that's all a legend. You know, that's all fiction. My motherfuckers. I mean, all right. So let me get back here. I apologize. Yeah, so it was decompiled and cleaned up. We thought that at least significant parts of a libOGC, such as its threading implementation, were original, and reluctantly continued to use the project while distancing ourselves from it. It has been recently been revealed that the threading slash OS implementation in libOGC is, in fact, stolen from RTEMS. The authors of libOGC didn't just steal proprietary Nintendo code, but also saw it fit to steal an open source RTOS and remove all distribution and copyright information. This goes far beyond ignorance about the copyright implications of reverse engineering Nintendo binaries and goes straight into outright deliberate malicious code theft and copyright infringements. Yeah, this is when motherfucking lawyers get involved and all this other shit. It's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get nasty. It's gonna be a boxing match in the court. All right, they gonna get the Mike Tyson, you know,
I
of
sentence you to 10 years of legalese and battling lawyers.
yeah, yeah. They're gonna get the Mike Tyson style lawyer to fight this. Like it's gonna be insane. All right. The current developers of libOGC are not interested in tracking this issue, finding a solution, nor informing the community of the problematic copyright status of the project. When we filed an issue about it, they immediately closed it, replied with verbal abuse, and then completely deleted it from public view. For this reason, we consider it impossible to legally and legitimately compile this software at this point and cannot encourage any further development. The Wii Homebrew community was built all on top of a pile of lies and copyright infringement. And it's all thanks to Shakur, who did the stealing, and the rest of the team, who enabled it and did nothing when it was discovered. Together, the developers deceived everyone into believing their work their work was original.
Where do you think Shag Kapoor hails from? What do you think where do you think his COO is?
I didn't even. Please demand that the leaders and the major contribution. Fuck. please demand that the leaders and major contributors to console and other proprietary device SDKs and toolkits that you use and work with do things legally and do not tolerate this kind of behavior. And what they're saying is that in terms of they're legally obtaining these SDKs from Nintendo themselves, and the idea is that Nintendo would never allow that. They would never allow these type of projects to fucking happen. Are you fucking insane?
What if they come out?
No.
What if Nintendo comes out and like, yeah, you guys are fine. We're not worried.
That's even more. That would be the kick in the head, yeah. But they would never allow this to. And like I said, it's possible that they had a working kit. They worked the coding, and it's funny. That means that they could have done it even without unsigned code. They could have got this work on with a normal Wii's,
But that's a lot of work, and you know.
yeah, I mean,
I'm
yeah,
on
and
I'm
even
on
that
Fiverr, you know, copying other code. So what's the big deal?
yeah, and you gotta say you gotta apply for those kits, you know, and even at that, like
Oh, that's
we
locked down though when they give it to you. Like, hey.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like let's say like theoretically speaking, like well, like we have a company,
Yeah,
like
I'm a game developer. This is our game. Can we have a kit, please? We want to develop for the
we
Switch
apply
2.
for them persona.
Yada,
Yeah,
yada,
we
yada.
apply
Here
or
you
yeah.
go. Blah blah blah.
Based on everything, even at that, you know, we have to connect directly to their servers. Like our internet has to be strong enough to even be able to do that because they monitor everything. You know, even when we're doing this stuff like on the kits, you know,
Yeah.
we still have to upload everything to the server. Everything has to get cleared. So it doesn't matter what we're doing on the computer. The moment it touches the console, no, it has to get cleared through fucking Sony.
Or Nintendo.
Sony, Nintendo, any of those companies, yeah, but you know what I mean, you know. And it's just woo.
Shit.
So the fact that they you want to know what's even crazier? That maybe they were working on the homebrew channel legitimately,
So
and
what
later
was
on,
what was the homebrew channel for? Sorry to interrupt you.
I mean, I wish our other co-host was here now because he would educate us a little bit more. But with the click of a finger here, I can look it up.
Well, go on your point. Sorry, I interrupted you.
But what was I already lost it.
You were going to expand upon, you know, what I think what they were going to do.
No. Yeah. What I was saying is that it's possible that they were already working on the homebrew channel through legitimate means, in terms of them doing it, you know, themselves, and maybe they happened to come across this development kit, and they saw their work was mute. There was no point of really doing it. They took whatever they had on these SDKs, repurposed it, which is what the article was saying. They repurposed everything, they cleaned it up, and they just kept it moving. You know, maybe this is no different than the Wii store, and they just redid everything as the homebrew channel. That's it. They just gave it a different name. It's probably the same exact code, and nobody really noticed it.
Hmm. So I have a list of all the well, maybe not all, but some of the applications that were created with the homebrew channel, and some of them are
yeah,
like media players, web browsers. One here is like a chat room, and there's some other stuff that's like to extract information from a game you're playing, or maybe like import information to a game you're playing, things like that. I see here a Twitter client. Here's one that turns your TV into a strobe light, so that's cool.
Yeah.
There's like some Linux tools here, calculators, a DVD register, enables a DVD register. I guess. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, so the Homebrew channel is a self-updating homebrew application loader by Team Twizzlers, which allows users to Load homebrew applications without having to run an exploit every time. Once installed, users can access the channel from the Wii system menu just like any other Wii channel. It can launch or install homebrew applications from an SD, SDHC card, or via TCP USB Gecko using Wii Load. You can install the homebrew channel as part of the Hack Me installer. Yeah, and it's oof, I mean,
The list goes on.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens in the future with these guys. I don't really.
So that means that the 3DS that I have, I mean, allegedly the 3DS that I have, could probably get me locked up.
Oh, really? Well, you gotta uninstall it now?
Because it has I mean, it allegedly has the homebrew channel on it.
Wow.
Allegedly.
I'm sure there's a lot of
But let's
people who have those laying around. I don't know.
Yeah, but let's continue. I apologize. Yeah, if you wish to check for yourself, for example, you can compare this function in libOGC to this function in a really old version of RTEMS. While the code has been simplified and many identifiers renamed, it is clear that the libOGC version is a direct descendant of the RTMS version. It is not possible for two code implementations to end up this similar purely by chance. Ouch.
So with this, wrapping this up, my final thoughts on this is going to be, I have a feeling that whoever was in charge of all this stealing and stuff, maybe they will continue their operation in some other means, and if that's the case, I would highly advise against using that kind of stuff, because at that point, all the rails of anyone saying anything about like controversial wise might be out the window, and you might be installing things that are perhaps malicious. Who knows? So I would just steer clear of all that. I mean, you should steer clear in general because piracy bad. But yeah.
And just like that, the homebrew scene for Nintendo, might be dying.
A banana, my homebrew. I had to lighten the mood a little bit.
Well, it's funny because like right now I'm reading an interesting super chat, from the same article, and he mentioned this, and this is funny. Yeah, there's no real purpose of virtue signaling in terms of like having like these hacked SDKs, or like these developer kits, because like it's been years now. They don't develop anything for these games now or these consoles. We can move on. Like, why are we limiting ourselves from tools that we can use to our disposal and actually make games? From these different console generations. You know, like there's some people that have obtained the Dreamcast katanas. Some of them are hacked, some of them aren't. Some people are making the games their official means, some people aren't. They don't say it, they don't admit it. But I'm just, yeah, it is a weird virtue signaling. I had to think about that right now.
Who's virtue signaling?
The company themselves, because they're admitting that the code itself is stolen from these official SDK kits.
Well,
and some
I
of
think they want to remove themselves from this situation.
the situation, yeah. And some people are saying, well, aren't they hackers? The hackers should keep on hacking. And I'm just like, that's a fair point.
You don't really. I mean, hacking is one thing. Getting involved with a mega corporation like Nintendo and possibly facing fines and things like that, you don't want any involvement. And if you're in a court of law, I guess it's going to go some kind of way if you are able to express that once you discovered this sort of thing, you decided.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Get owned. I'm behind 10 different VPNs. You'll never find me because I'm a hacker elite.
I mean, I'm just saying. It's a smart move from that person, but I'm sure a lot of people will be annoyed at that. Like, why didn't you just keep quiet and let us keep developing or whatever?
I mean, listen, man. They'll figure it out. Maybe the prices on these hacked systems are gonna go up. Who knows?
Ay, ay, ay. Well, let's move into this game. Claire
Oh yeah,
Obscure
the
Expedition
game of
23.
mouth breathers.
The game of mouth breathers. Wow. Okay.
Huh?
Rude. I see a lot of people enjoying this game recently.
No, it's an interesting game.
Have you looked into it at all?
Yeah.
What have you seen? Have you seen things? I've seen things.
My favorite streamer, Caleb Hart 42, is
Favorite
currently
streamer?
streaming it.
Did you grow up
And
watching him?
shut your mouth. But nah, he's been streaming it right now a lot. He's been enjoying it. There's a lot of turn-based mechanics where you can do like these QTEs, and I think we've spoken about these mechanics in the past. These RPGs, that some of them you could do directional inputs, as the character is performing their attack,
Well,
allowing you to do more damage. Final Fantasy VIII had something similar when Squall, when you would press the trigger button at the
yeah.
right moment, it would do the gunblade effect. I think even for
FF10 had
Zell,
this with the
yeah, FF10 had that also, yes.
with the special moves or whatever.
Yes, the
Whatever you wanna
limit,
call
yeah,
them.
the ultimate limit breaks,
Limit
yeah.
breaks or whatever. But it's interesting. We talked about this a long time ago when it comes to like designing like RPG games. Like when you like making it, making like a little RPG game. I realized, and at the time I was playing Vagrant Story a little bit. So at the time, I was kind of understanding where games could use different elements along with the like just the base RPG stuff. So I grew up playing all these old RPGs. Well, not a lot of them, like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, a little bit of 10 and stuff like that. 12 is probably my favorite Final Fantasy, but regardless, like when you attack the enemy and when it attacks you, right? There's necessarily nothing really going on. You're just waiting. So there's a lot of empty game space that you could possibly fill with something. And even if you filled it with anything, as long as it's not tedious, I mean, I don't see really anything wrong with that, or I don't think
Well,
it's extra development time for sure. But I think there's like a way you can add something that's mildly engaging while you're in between turns. Almost like Mario Party minigames in a sense.
well, to add to what you're saying, and it's funny that you bring that up in terms of like the time limit being used and how certain turn-based games eventually added that timer bar, that Final Fantasy popularized. If you go back even further, when you look at the granddaddy of all RPGs, Wizardry, when you would engage in battle, a lot of those text style, combat games, you were actually reading a story, as you were playing the game. So you would make up for your time, and as the graphics got better, that story element got lost. So I definitely see what you're saying, like that's no longer a part of the battle, where they would have that like those end game quotes, or like you'll damage the enemy at a certain point, and there'll be like that mid dialogue and so forth. Like a lot of those games don't have that anymore. Now it's like you fight your giant Souls like boss and you call it a day, you move on to the next area. You know, autism captured. You know, whatever, whatever they call it in Souls and everything. But yeah, it's funny that they try to make use of that, that time, or make it more engaging. You're not just waiting, just pressing a button, just like, oh, I'm waiting my turn, waiting my turn. But
So,
but that was like the chess element of it,
do you remember
because you
the?
had easily, you could get killed, you could get poisoned, you could get stoned.
So I haven't seen a lot of
Mhm.
this game, but I just realized that character right now was trying to parry the enemy. And if you remember that small game that
Yeah,
I
you could
made
parry.
back
Yeah,
in
you
the
could
day,
parry.
I had the
Yeah,
parries in the game.
yeah, I told you, man, ahead of its time.
I was ahead. I was ahead of everybody. Let it be known.
Yeah.
But I think this game is doing a good job of changing things up. There's like a character here. I don't know if it's a character or maybe a weapon, but where they have a gun attack, and when they shoot the gun, there's like a cursor that comes up, and you aim at the enemy, while your turn is going. So all those little things, I think they're really, as long as they're not, you don't become like too tedious, because if it becomes too tedious or it's the same thing you're doing all the time, it's gonna get old and it's gonna get boring, right? So you gotta make sure you're not doing that too much.
But I'll say this: I do enjoy the art style. The whole gothic landscaping. I mean, it's not really gothic landscape; it's more like the aesthetic,
The
or at least that.
architecture and the fashion.
Yeah, the fashion. Yeah, it's more of the fashion.
Yeah.
But it's not even a gothic. These motherfuckers look like a bunch of English motherfuckers. You know, back in like 17 something. I don't know.
Who's this guy? Look at this
Yeah,
guy.
but there are some dark tones implemented in the game. You can definitely see that.
I mean, the
And
game
then obviously
definitely it looks interesting. More interesting than the recent like Final Fantasy games. Like I tried playing Final Fantasy 16 and I was bored to tears with the demo, and I was like, wow. So
Well, people are asking themselves, are turn-based games back? And I kept saying it. They never died. They were always good games.
oh no, yeah, people have been playing. What was it like? I think like a Persona one that released a while back. People are really enjoying that one. Was it?
Oh
Persona?
yeah, yeah, was it called Phantasmal? I think.
Something.
Yeah, and it's weird because like this is just Dark Souls, but as an RPG. I
And
feel
then you
like.
also have what was it, the Earthbound clone? What's it called?
Oh yeah, all those games. Lisa was another one.
Kind of in the same vein, a little bit. So
Yeah, you could do the
you're right.
directional inputs.
Yeah, this is nice. That looks really nice. I like this. This looks cool.
Yeah, you see the whole area. Yeah, the whole destruction.
Like a festival.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Looks cool. But yeah, these games haven't really gone away, and people almost always are going back to old Final Fantasies. So that's got to count for something.
Yes.
They're always like replaying those games and stuff. Yeah. And Final Fantasy 12 really showed me that there's like some untapped strategy that these games are not doing. It's like an untapped. I mean, it's not the craziest strategy in the world. Like, it's not like a StarCraft level simulation, but there is like an untapped little thing that's going on in that game that the game itself doesn't even do a good job of showcasing.
Well, I've spoken about this with you before that a lot of these RPGs have become nothing more than button mashers. Like you're not even strategically placing your
No.
your set pieces. You're just leveling up one character. You just leave them on the board. They all attack him, and then you just keep going on from there. I call it the Pokemon strategy. Yeah.
You spam attack
It's the
with the
Pokemon
other
strategy.
guy, and the guy in the middle does something else.
I have Charizard. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And it's nice that that these games are switching it up.
Yeah. I mean, if you're at Square Enix, you must be like shooting yourself in the foot right now. Like, wow, we could have been doing this, and we messed up.
Oh, but I think that's what I wanted, man. A lot of these games, a lot of these RPGs became action games.
Yeah. Why do I want to play like a bad version of Devil May Cry when I could just go play Devil May Cry?
And at that point, I remember the main reason people were playing RPGs was because of the puzzle solving aspect. It was you always were solving puzzles, and that was outside, of the combat system.
Final Fantasy X is big on that.
Yeah, you don't even see that anymore.
Some of those fights are weird, like what your objective is.
This is a giant landscape, and like you find all these mid bosses running around.
Yeah,
you could just go into it's terrible. So no, yeah, it's nice that they're switching up with this game. Maybe I'll eventually get it. My PC's been bottlenecking. I'm not too sure what's going on there. I might have to get a new I gotta get a new motherboard.
You gotta get a new computer with ray tracing, dude.
I gotta get a new motherboard.
All right. Well, the last thing that we are going to discuss for the day is going to be Fatal Fury, and it seems like it's unfortunately not doing ultra good.
I wouldn't pay attention to these numbers, and now that you got my blood boiling, I'm gonna rant for a little bit. This game is doing perfectly fine. A lot of people have been hyping it up. You know, a lot of these top players, you name it, they're all excited about this game. And I keep asking myself, is that because the Saudi Arabians announced a $2 million tournament, and these people are hoping to wrap that up, and just run straight to the bank?
I mean, that
Who
tournament is
knows?
definitely going to help sales for sure.
It is gonna help sales. And then there was another aspect of Fatal Fury that I found very concerning. People were angry, that this game had Cristiano Ronaldo in it because of a supposed grape allegation that happened in Las
Grapes,
Vegas.
the fruit grapes. I love
Yeah,
grapes.
the fruit. Yeah,
Welch's grape juice. It's fantastic. I
yeah,
have some in my fridge right now, actually. Some grape juice.
absolutely, absolutely delicious.
Grapes and
Yes,
cranberries.
some allegation that happened in Las
Something.
Vegas, blah blah blah. So people were saying, "Oh, I don't want to play this game because it has this character," and then people were angry at the inclusion of Salvatore Ganacci, the DJ guy. They didn't like him at all. They was like, "Oh, this game is becoming Mugen now." All these celebrities and stuff, and then long behold, the game releases, and now everybody's saying all these positive things about this game. There was I don't even know if you peeped it. There was a thumbnail in the bottom of Sonic Fox, even promoting Fatal Fury. Now everybody has Fatal Fury fever. They're all about the wolves. They love this game. Ooh, ooh, look at those combos right there with Salvatore Ganacci. Absolutely dirty. And of course, it's Chris G playing Salvatore Ganacci. I'm
Of
not
course.
surprised. You know,
That
because
makes
he
a
already
lot of
knew.
sense.
He already knew he was. He saw him. He was like, "Oh, this guy's broken. Of course, I'm gonna play him."
Oh
You
man.
know. But yeah, everybody was angry, and now everybody's just like, "Oh no, this is actually really cool. It's nice. What happened? Why is everybody's change of tone?" We're allowed to change our opinions, but I keep saying it. Can we stop listening to the mouth breathers, on the internet? Because even Maximilian was wrong. He was one of the main ones saying, "Oh, I'm not too sure, guys." And then all of a sudden, "Oh, guys, this is awesome."
Check
Salvatore
cleared.
Ganacci. Yeah, he's texting me. He's telling me that he wants to give me, an Adidas tracksuit so we can both wear it together at Evo. It's just like, come on, man.
Oh
The Saudi
no.
Arabians paid you. You saw that the Saudi Arabian
Check
check was bigger than
sent.
way bigger than what Capcom can offer. It's all about Fatal Fury right now. It's all about the
Dude.
FCK. And ladies and gentlemen,
Wow.
I want to remind everyone that there is a boxing tournament by the ring that's currently
Oh yeah,
happening.
boxing tournament.
Learn some footsies,
Yeah,
motherfucker. Fuck out of here.
and
That
that's
random
also,
shit, bro.
and if you looked, they've been heavily promoting the SNK fighting game, and my suspicion is that whoever wins that boxing tournament is going to become the next character in this SNK fighting game. Uh, if you looked at this past WrestleMania, SNK Fatal Fury's City of the Wolves was flat right in the middle of the motherfucking ring as Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins were all fighting for the possession of the wise man Paul Heyman. I found it absolutely disgusting and astonishing at the same time. I just couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So they got it on lock. All right, Capcom needs to be scared. Look at Chris G right now. Yeah, they got it on lock. They need to be scared right now. Okay, everybody keeps saying I'm fucking insane. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, look at all these mouth breathers right here playing this game. All right, what the fuck is going on? Everybody's like, oh, Elena, fuck that character, right? And I'm
Oh
a
god.
person that I love Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. All right, and of course I'm excited for Elena and Street Fighter 6. Of course I
I
am.
play her and I'm not excited. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but let's be honest right now. The flavor of the month, and which will eventually lead the way for the FGC into the new era, is Fatal Fury. Look at these Salvatore Ganacci combos. All right, ooh, dirty, dirty. He parried it. Dirty. I mean, it's. Oh, this is grand finals right here. All right, this is good.
You didn't reset it. Oh no, I can already see it. You didn't reset the basket. No. Well, I mean, the Steam numbers, right? Just going by the Steam numbers, they don't look great right now.
And before you even say anything, I want to remind everybody that these Steam numbers are nothing more for the people who are mouth breathers, because a majority of the fighting game community is playing on the PlayStation 5, and only the top players are the ones who are playing on Steam.
I
So by
knew it. I
these
knew you were a
numbers,
Sony shill. I should have never brought you on this
no,
program.
so by
I'm
these
calling the
numbers,
director right
no, no,
now.
no. Let me by these numbers. Can you go back to city? By these numbers, that means that the top players, the players that are actually really, really good, all right, they're all on Steam, and we know that 2,000 of them are playing this game right now. Because in terms of optimizing your PC to play it flawlessly, on your setup, where you
Top
have no
gamers.
lag input, these are the top kids. These are the intelligent ones right here. All right, so the mouth breathers saying, oh, the game is mouth breathers, all right,
I
because
mean,
everybody else is.
I would love to see the Sony numbers, and I would love to see
Yeah, of
this game
course, of
doing
course.
well. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want to see
we
this game
need this game to
fail.
do well. No, we need this game to do well. Because if not, SNK is gonna lose themselves to this. They're gonna buy the company flat out after this. If this
But
game
here's
does bad,
just for comparison's sake, King of Fighters 15. There were 233 people playing 5 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
300
300
Mexicans.
The 324-hour peak. But this is a game where you can log in and always find a game. You can always find a match. Even with 200, 300 players, you can always find a match on King of Fighters. And on I think Fightcade, Third Strike, it's the same, almost the same number, maybe 200, 300. You could always find a game. So it's really not an issue for finding games. This is a game that's active. If I were to look at something maybe like
100 Mexicans on Fightcade, 100 Brazilians on Fightcade, and the rest are multicultural.
Under Night in Birth. Okay, that's also got like a reasonable amount of people, but this is a game I'm not sure if you could find games in. I don't know. I think most people are on Discord, perhaps.
Yeah,
But,
the only 200. Yeah, go back to that Under Night in Birth. Those 200 players right there are the most intelligent players I have ever seen in my life. God bless them, because it is
I gotta
a good
put it
game.
on my wish list. I gotta put it on my wish
I'm happy that they're playing that game. Shouts out to them.
Too late.
The 200 intelligent players right there.
But if we look at
Big
Virtua Fighter 5 Revo that was recently re-released,
those players are on suicide watch because they're all playing that shit on PlayStation 5. They're all playing it on PlayStation 5.
The numbers here are a little lower,
PlayStation 5.
We're gonna look at bigger games. Bigger games
big
now.
5.
Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah. All right, I told you that
the all-time numbers are bigger, but the current numbers are relatively the same.
I told you. Listen. I told you that the people that were looking at these numbers that were mouth breathers. Correction for this game, we have 2,000 mouth breathers, right? All right, for this game, it's 2,000 mouth breathers.
Well, look, I just want to show the numbers. They don't exactly mean exactly, one game is better or.
Well, yeah, look at this game. Yeah, 27,000 mouth breathers. Good lord.
But just relative to what the interest is at the time right now, this will be like a, what do you call it, like a relic. People can come back to this video and be like, look at the numbers back then, I guess, But yeah, we're looking at 2,000 right now. The game is out on Steam. Can we pull it up on Steam from here? Is that a thing we can do? We should be able to do that functionality. Welcome to Steam. Fatal Fury
you
right
can't
now.
do that. You're not allowed to do that.
$60. Very positive. Look at that. I know a couple fighting games that are very negative right now. But yeah, if anything added to your wish list, I'm sure when they have that $2 million tournament, they are going to probably have a sale around that time. That's my guess.
It's a good game. It's a good game.
I don't like it,
good game.
but I hope it does well.
Well, you're a mouth breather.
There you go. Anything else for the fine folks?
Listen, guys, wonderful game. Don't steal Nintendo SDK kits, and if you do, don't tell anybody. Don't tell
Don't
anybody.
go on
If
the E train and try to sell the SDK kits.
yeah, listen, man.
Don't go, don't
I
walk
hate
down
to bring
7th
that back
Avenue
there,
trying to
man.
sell the SDK kits.
Yeah, like just oh my god, just don't tell nobody.
Oh God. Well, we're joking. Hey, what is that?
Allegedly, just don't tell nobody, but allegedly.
It's jokes. All right, and make sure to go to our sponsor. Check out their offerings. You know, you can get some help with your anxiety. Oh my God, this character looks so goofy. All right, we're out of here. See you later.